Number 5 is probably one of the tougher proofs in this packet because a lot of the ones we've done deal with congruence and just things being the same and using transitive, but this one we're actually going to have to use some addition and some substitution. So we're told that A is parallel to B, which this should be A and B here, but I forgot to write it. So we have A and B being parallel. And what I need to show is that the measure of angle 9 plus the measure of angle 14 equals 180. The way you know this is true is that if 9 and 11 add to 180, because they form a straight line together, then 9 and 14 must also, because 11 and 14 have the same measure. So if 11 and 14 are the same, and 9 and 11 add to 180, 9 and 14 must also add to 180. Again, thinking it through before you start might help you understand what your plan should be for your proof. So I'm going to start out with my givens. Because I know that A is parallel to B, we need to think about what we can conclude. If A is parallel to B, we can use any of those angle measures. I can say 11 is congruent to 14 because they are alternate interior angles. Remember, when you're told something's parallel, you can conclude something about one of those angle relationships. Because I know I'm eventually going to be working in equals, I'm going to go ahead and write that the measure of angle 11 is equal to the measure of angle 14 by definition of congruent. If that's something you don't write until later in your proof or something you just don't think about until later, that's okay. It doesn't have to come now, but I'm just putting it there now because I know I'm going to use it. I eventually need to show that 9 plus 14 is 180. If 11 and 14 are the same, hopefully because of all these proofs we've done, you're thinking we're going to be doing some substitution. But we can't substitute anything in for anything else until we have an equation to start with. The only thing I know that adds to something is that the measure of angle 9 plus the measure of angle 11 equals 180. And that is the linear pair postulate. Now is when I can use my substitution and take measure of angle 14 and put it in place of the measure of angle 11. And that is by substitution. I know that that's what I want to do because eventually I want to end up with just 9 and 14. So I need 11 to get out of that equation. And actually, I just realized that is the last step to our proof. We don't have to say they're supplementary. We don't have to say anything else about them. We just had to prove that 9 plus 14 was 180, and now we are finished.